Natal plum, yeah, it's from the KwaZulu-Natal province in South Africa. When I moved in here, there was nothing here. Absolutely, it was just grass. So my goal for the front area was to have a mixture of fruit trees and beautiful plants. I wanted it to almost look like a botanical garden. This is one of the most amazing mangoes that I've ever tasted. This is Orange Essence. And it really tastes and smells like you're cutting an orange. And here is my favorite mango, Sweetheart. I love jabuticabas. That's my thing. It's peach cobbler. Last year it said one fruit, raccoons took it. so this year maybe it's gonna have 4 fruit. I know you're looking at these trees. Are they a little close? Yes, they are, about 12 feet apart. But I planted this lemon zest knowing that it was borderline.
Hello everybody, welcome to Fruitful Trees. Here I am today with Carl from South Africa who lives here now, and he's at this property for about 4 years. Amazing property. He's been telling me about it. I'm so excited to do a video about it and come and look around. Carl, thanks for having us come on out here.
Absolutely. It's such a pleasure to have you, Paul.
Well, I'm looking forward to see what he has here. So join us today, and here we go. And I'm going to put his contact information below as well. He's in Loxahatchee, Florida, which is about a half hour west of me. And yeah, check it out. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. Hello everybody, this is Carl, and we're at his amazing house today of growing trees. Hi Carl, thanks for inviting us out to your house.
Hi Paul, welcome to my fruit forest.
Well, Carl, how long have you lived at this property?
I moved in there on the 4th of July 2021, so it's just 4 months shy of 4 years.
And when you moved here, was there any fruit trees at all?
There were 4 fruit trees. There was a big avocado tree, 3 seedling mango trees, and a small sapodilla tree. That was it.
And when you moved in, were you into growing fruit trees? Was that why you bought the property, or?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So I've actually been into growing plants, fruit trees, whatever, since I was 7 or 8 years old. So it was a lifelong dream to have a piece of land where I can grow whatever my heart desired.
So when you were growing up, you grew fruit trees?
Yeah, yeah.
Was it a tropical environment?
No, I grew up near Johannesburg in South Africa, okay. So it was all temperate fruit, peaches, plums, apricots, all those kind of stone fruits.
So this is all a learning experience for you?
It was all learning, but I've been doing this for quite a while. We moved to Florida in 2006. We bought a house in Boynton Beach, and it was a third of an acre, but it was in an HOA. So I was very constrained, but what I did is I put up a fence, and then I planted fruit trees in the backyard.
Thank you. Well, so you got this property here. How big did you say it was?
1.59 acres.
Okay, and you said here it floods sometimes, right?
It floods. The drainage here is really horrendous. You can see how high the road is here. So if it rains more than an inch or so, this whole area floods. So I just had this front area filled. And when we walk around at the back there, I had a Brazilian pepper forest. It was impenetrable, so I also had that removed, and that area was very low. It's adjacent to that wetland there, so I had that area filled too, and now I have almost a 1/4 acre more land to plant fruit trees. So I'm very excited.
And that's something to think about, everybody, because he used to live where I used to live, and then he comes out here and it looks like I got all this land now. But whether it's in the country or just away from the popular areas, you got to think about drainage. That's a question you should be asking, because if you're in the wrong spot, it's going to create not the ideal property for you. So not a lot of people think about that. They see big land and they're like, this is my dream, and then they don't think about it.
All the trees that I planted in the front here, they drowned and died. I lost maybe 4 trees, so I gave up. So the only tree that survived that area was the strawberry tree.
Wow, wow. All right, so take us around your wonderful property here. I'm excited.
So what I've been doing is I'm just growing like almost an edible hedge. So it's a mixture of fruiting plants and native plants. So there's also Carissia macrocarpa. It's Natal plum from South Africa.
Now, you don't have to worry about foot traffic out here, right?
No, not yet.
Okay, not yet.
Hopefully they don't. So this is Natal plum. It makes they're not quite ripe yet.
Okay.
And if you smell these blooms, it smells like jasmine. They're just absolutely incredible.
So this is called Natal plum? Natal plum?
Natal plum, yeah. It's from the KwaZulu-Natal province in South Africa, native to that area.
It smells wonderful.
It's fantastic. And, you know, if you wanted to plant a hedge that you want to deter people from entering, this is the perfect one because it has these vicious spikes.
Oh,
You
thorns, yeah, wow.
you don't want to interact with this
Wow.
plant. And this is green buttonwood, native to Florida.
What does that taste like when it's ripe?
It is delicious. So let's see. Yeah, no, it's going to be terrible if it's not ripe. When it's ripe, it turns like almost a purple, dark purple, pink color on the inside, and it's like almost like a plum.
Wow.
But it's very different, very
Nice.
unique.
Does it fruit all year?
It fruits on and off, yeah. So it's always in bloom. There's always a fruit or so on it. I just love it. It is such a beautiful plant, and it's low maintenance. It doesn't require water, fertilization, nothing.
Okay.
So yeah, when I moved in here, there was nothing here. Absolutely, it was just grass, and like Pete Canaris from Green Team says, don't be a grasshole.
Yep. Now, did you think about the drainage issue when you moved in, or is that something?
I didn't.
Yeah.
No,
So
I
hopefully
didn't.
people watching will realize that.
I didn't, and I'll tell you that it cost a pretty penny to fill and to remove the Brazilian peppers and fill that area. So it took me a while to save up to do it, but I think it's worth it because I have a 1/4 acre of additional land to plant whatever I want to, I want to plant.
That's exciting.
So as you can see,
Another tip for everybody that's growing fruit trees, get a sign that says you're under surveillance. That helps deter people. Okay.
yeah. This is one of the first trees that I planted. This is a red flesh jackfruit. I grew it from a seed while I was still renting, you know, moving around, trying to save up to be able to afford this place. So I grew this on my patio in the townhouse where I rented. And when I moved in, I planted it. And last year it actually bloomed for the first time. It actually see a little bloom on it, now. So hopefully I'm going to get my first jackfruit from it
And
this
how many
year.
years now has it been?
I started this in 2019. So it's like about 5 years.
Another tip, folks, growing seedlings versus grafted. If you had a grafted tree, it would have fruited already, and you know what you're getting. This
Right.
might turn out amazing, but we already know it's 5 years and he hasn't gotten anything,
Right.
so keep that in mind.
And people wonder, what the hell's going on here? So I just planted jack bean. I don't know if you know jack bean. So I planted jack bean under it.
Oh, they call it ice cream bean, right?
No, it's not ice cream bean. These are actually jack bean. They're actually really beans. So they,
okay.
Yeah, so I just planted it. So it's a nitrogen fixer. It grows into the tree, and I just throw it back there, let it grow. So it's like a jackfruit tree.
There you go.
So my goal for the front area was to have a mixture of fruit trees and beautiful plants. I wanted it to almost look like a botanical garden. And a big inspiration was David the Good with his grocery row method. So I created my take on grocery rows. So I planted fruit trees and blooming shrubs and blooming plants, all intermixed. So it's a mixture of just about everything. So there's a giant Thai jujube. I picked the first 2 fruits from it just a few weeks ago, and they were big. They were like this. Here we've got a Turk's cap. It's just a pollinator plant, and I love it. There's a moringa. Here's a wampy. It's actually a seedling that I bought online from somebody, and it's fruiting. I mean, it's blooming, so I'm gonna have to cut it. It's just growing straight up. So you can see the blooming plants in between. And where shall we go next? We can probably do this row here. So have you heard about Bignay?
Yes, I have.
I'm on the fence regarding it. It fruited last year. I really didn't care for it.
I'm not sure if I had it yet.
I really didn't care for it. It's very sour and astringent. Here we have a orange sherbet mango, and And I need to write in this is like, you know, the tropical hibiscus, edible hibiscus. So it just wants to lean over. But I'm actually really impressed by this orange sherbet. It sets so many fruit. As you can see, this is the first year that it's blooming, that it's fruiting.
Now, do you water your trees?
I'll show you.
Well, okay. I was gonna say we'll continue and you can show me.
Yeah, so
Right.
for the first 3 years that I lived here, I had to water everything by hand, and I only have one place where I get water from the well. Man, it was a never-ending job to get everything watered. So I actually, last year, January, I took 2 weeks vacation from work, and I installed irrigation pipe almost all across my yard. So everywhere in my yard, within 50 feet, I have access to a water point now. All of these trees have drip irrigation, and with the mango trees I installed little valves that I can turn it on or off. So once the fruit are mature and it starts raining, you really don't want to water your trees because it dilutes the flavor of the mangoes. So I can turn them off, the mangoes, but the other trees, they have permanent irrigation.
All right, so is this the first year you're getting fruit on this orange
The first
sherbet?
year that I'm getting fruit, and I am really blown away by how many fruit this little tree set. I can't even count them. There's like a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if I should thin them. And the other thing is that I don't see any evidence of anthracnose on this one. And you'll see on some of my mango trees, as the videos that you brought out recently showed, here's a prime example of which trees not to plant in Loxahatchee. We'll see them.
Now, do you spray your trees?
I sprayed sulfur. We had that long period of wet, rainy weather. As soon as I got a day of break, I sprayed everything with sulfur, but I haven't sprayed again. Okay. I think I should spray with copper because I see anthracnose on quite a few of my trees. Here's another one that you pointed out that's really not doing well for Loxahatchee, ice cream mango. Instead, one fruit. You can see all these panicles are dead, didn't set any fruit. I don't know whether it was powdery mildew or anthracnose.
Well, ice cream in general is not a good producer. So
it's so good though.
So good.
Oh
so
my
good.
goodness.
Best tasting. It's amazing.
And because it's such a dwarf tree, this has been in the ground here for almost 3 years now, and it has hardly grown. So it's like, you know, so it's a very slow grower. And we go further down this row, we have a yellow hog plum that's coming in with fruit now. Brazilian guava, Sedum guinense, a Gefner Atamoya. This little tree had a fruit last year, this little tree. So Gefner is definitely one that you can trust to fruit out here. In this row, this is one of the most amazing mangoes that I've ever tasted. This is Orange Essence, and it really tastes and smells like you're cutting an orange. It's when these fruits are ready, you're gonna have to come out here and taste it. It's just truly amazing.
Great late season mango.
Oh, it's just absolutely. I was so in love with it that I don't want to share one single fruit with anybody. It only had like 7 fruit last year. So this year it's still blooming. So I think it's going to set a lot of fruit. Here we have a Violet de Bordeaux fig, and figs they just don't do good here. But the reason why it's still alive is I use crab and lobster shell and neem seed meal, and I often add that to the soil for the nematodes. Here we have an achachacharu. Ah, my God, you need patience with this stuff, let me tell you. I don't know when it's ever gonna fruit. Here we have something very interesting. It's a soap juneberry from South Africa. It's in the lychee, same family as lychee and longan, so it bears a fruit similar to that. And then there's a cinnamon tree. Yeah, we can go around this way. Over here, we have a miwa kumquat. I don't know if you ever had miwa kumquat.
I've had kumquat. I don't know if this one. Oh, it stays green.
I eat it when it reaches that stage.
Yeah, normally
They normally
kumquat-
turn orange,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they're good even like that.
All right.
I love it. I just
Skin
put them-
edible?
Oh, absolutely. You have to eat the skin. Otherwise, it's a little sour. With the skin, it actually is just freaking delicious. I love it. And it just always has a fruit on it, almost year round. So, Miwa kumquat is really fantastic. In this row, we have Shrikimbangan Chimpajak. I grew it from a seed. Really didn't like the winter, so it's still alive. Pichuk, Chaya, Namwa bananas. Man, they produce so many bananas. There's no way that I can eat all of those, so I'm just giving away. I'm drying them too. They're really good dried, but it's just too many at all. Here under these queen palms is just a little shady area with foliage plants, just bringing in some beauty into the yard as well. Amaryllis, they're also native to South Africa actually. Over here, this whole area used to flood whenever there's more than an inch or so of rain. So I brought in a lot of dirt and I had this filled. That's why it still looks like this, and it's just weeds.
Can I throw this here?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. Hurricane Milton blew through here, the outer bands, and knocked down everything that was planted here, including this strawberry tree. This strawberry tree was so big, it was probably 30 feet tall. You can see how big the trunk is. And where I had to cut it.
Wow.
I had to cut it and basically, but I mean, this thing, you can't kill it even if you want to. It's like, it's already fruiting again. So, really awesome.
Did it split or fall?
It just fell over because most of the strawberry trees are grown from cuttings, so they don't really have a taproot. So they're really, they're this big, that big, just over. So right next to this Namo, I've got some Garcinia. I think it's called Madruno or Bakapuri, I'm not sure. But just like the Achachacharu, man, it's like they grow like at a glacial pace. I'll probably be 90 by the time it fruits. And here's an orange guava that I grew from a seed. Here's a jackfruit that I grew from a seed that I picked up at Mounts on the ground. And the jackfruit tree at Mounts bears as orange fresh, so it was very different from the usual. So I'm gonna take a chance and see what I get. And maybe I planted these too close to each other, I'm not sure. This is Olosapo. You know, I've heard of Olosapo. It's in the Canistel family. And over here is a Triumph persimmon. In between is just some flowering plants, and in the hedge there's some Barbados cherries. There's also some Syzygium paniculatum, which is Australian brush cherry, as part of my hedge. In between there's pomegranates, there's cocoa plums. It's like a mixture of whatever. Over here is a Chimpajak seedling. Just a Chimpajak from Tradewinds fruit, a seedling. It hasn't fruited or done anything yet. Over here we have a banana crunch jackfruit. It's grafted. The reason why it's staked so is it was lying on its side after Hurricane Milton, so I picked it up and staked it. And if you come over here, I don't know if you can smell it. It smells like bubble gum. Do you smell that?
Yeah.
It's this little dwarf jackfruit tree. It's a cochin.
Oh, wow.
And it has been blooming for 2 years, but it's only making male flowers.
Are those male?
smell
You
that?
sure those aren't female? Those are pretty big.
You think there might be some females?
Yeah, male
I hope
flowers
so.
don't usually get that big.
I
Wow.
hope so, but the smell, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it's like,
and look at this size. It's nice and small.
it's intoxicating, the smell.
Yeah. Really beautiful smell, cochin.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And so, yeah, so it was also lying flat after Hurricane Milton, so that's the reason why I staked it like this. And so this is the area that I had cleared recently. The Brazilian peppers were basically, I'll show you. You can see here where they ground up all the Brazilian peppers. The Brazilian peppers were up to here.
Wow, you got this whole area
And
now.
can you see what it looks like there?
Sure.
It was more dense than that.
Wow.
And on the other side of my property, when I moved in the first year or the second year, I was brave and full of energy. I'm going to do it. So I cleared the other side manually with an electric chainsaw. Chainsaw. I didn't want to do that again.
So what'd you do?
It was brain damage, seriously. So I saved up, paid somebody to clear it, and then filled this entire area. Because all of this land from here to where my property ends there were unusable. So now I already planted several more trees here. That's an Alano Sapotea. That ice cream bean is a temporary tree. It's going to come out, so it's just going to be like a nursery. There's a sweetheart lychee, and then a Campbell white sapote. So I'm very excited about that. This is a seedling Mame sapote. I grew a grafted one here. It grew for 1 year and then just died. Wow. So I said, I'm not going to pay that much money for a grafted tree again. So I just grew a seed. So it's doing very, very well. Over here is a Mauritius lychee, and it's actually in full bloom. It's the first time that it's blooming. So, and touch wood, so far I don't see any evidence of the Aeronose mite yet, but it's flushing with new growth. So tomorrow morning I'm going to spray it with sulfur, as well as the sweetheart. It's also blooming. I just don't want to take a chance, but so far I'm very, very fortunate that there's no evidence of the mite. And if you see here, it's just completely covered in blooms everywhere. And I can see it setting little fruit already. I am fascinated with the Myrtaceous plants, Myrtaceous, you know, that family of plants. So this is a Eugenia Tenue pedunculata. It's very rare. I don't know if anybody else has that. This is a little longan that I got from Leaf. He says that it bears chicken tongue seeds or longans with very small seeds. So it's just taking forever. There's a pickering. I planted a pickering. Everybody says you have to plant a pickering, so I planted a pickering. Over here is another stand of Namwa. And here is a yellow Jabarikawa, Myrciara glazopiana. Here is a BUQ longan. It made a few fruits last year, but then the raccoons got all of them. They live, there's like a family of raccoons that live right next to me. Over here is a Cambuca. You know, have you heard of Cambuca?
I believe so, yeah.
Clinia edulus. Man, this tree is like a little kid. It's like no matter what I do, it's not happy. And right after I planted it, the trunk cracked open and the whole tree died.
Wow.
So, and this was the most expensive plant that I've ever bought. I'm not going to say how much I paid for this. People will say, are you crazy?
How much did you pay for it?
$800.
$800. Wow. How small was it when you bought it?
It was 12 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, and it actually bloomed a couple of times, but it hasn't set any fruit.
What does the fruit look like?
The fruit are big, and apparently they taste like a combination of apricot and mango. Apparently really good. Yeah, so this is a tropic sweet peach. It's never fruited for me, so you're on your last legs. This is another Jabaricaba. It's called Campo Roman. It's from Argentina. It really struggles here. It's just I think it's just too hot for it here. And here is my favorite mango. Sweetheart.
Okay, sweetheart.
This is my #1 mango. I love it. And it's the first year that it's blooming and I'm blown away. It is just covered in fruit and it's still blooming and still setting fruit. So I'm gonna have multiple crops from it.
Now you're standing between two trees. How far apart are these trees?
These two trees are about 12 feet apart.
Okay.
And this is a chocanon. So you can keep this really small if you want, if I'm gonna have to.
Sure.
So, and even chocanon is the first year that it's blooming, and I mean, it's like a succession of setting fruit. It's gonna have several flushes or, you know, fruit. Another one that's not supposed to do well here in Loxahatchee is pina colada. It's apparently not very meant for humid and fungus infested areas, like Alex calls it fungus infested Loxahatchee, right?
Yes.
But I took a chance and so far it's looking promising. Look at all the fruit, it's still blooming. So again, it set fruit and then we got another cold spell and then it bloomed again. So as you can see, it's setting a lot of fruit. And as we go around, you'll see that the common theme, my favorite plant of all, is the Plinia genus. I love jaboticabas. That's my thing. So this is a Plinia coronata varhestinga. So this is from the Atlantic rainforest in Brazil, with a very similar soil, climate, and everything as here. So it's so happy here. And there's nothing that really have to do to it, so it's a jaboticaba that I can recommend if you can find it, but you can't find it at nurseries. You have to grow it from seed. This is a sabra seedling that I got from a friend of mine. He had it in a container. It's 15 years old, and last year he said, I'm done with this thing, just take it. It doesn't want to grow for me. So I planted it in the ground, and we'll walk up the path now and I'll show you my sabra, which is 15 or 16 years old, and we'll compare. We'll walk up here and let me show you up here. So this is a little Neelam. So Neelam is really doing well here. It's the first year that it's fruiting. I'm probably gonna have to thin it because it's gonna stunt this, and it's already a small tree. But how many fruit do you count on here? Like in, oh my gosh, hundreds or 50 at least. Another mango tree that's probably not meant for Loxahatchee is Phoenix. The second year, as you can see, all the panicles, it was covered. I think I count like 2 or 3 fruit set. So this is probably not one for Loxahatchee. And I know from all your videos that you also love avocados like I do.
Oh, yeah.
I love avocado, and this is a super Haas. I let it bear too many fruit last year, so it actually, as a result, the tree really looks, I need to come in and prune all of this dead off, but at least it's flushing new growth, so it's not completely dead. Here's another jaboticaba. This is Plinia oblongata, so it's a very sour jaboticaba, and these trees can actually grow like in 40 feet tall, so they can grow very big. Over here is you know, there's little trees that we have all over our area with the little orange blooms, the Geiger trees. So this is in the same family as that. It's from Mexico, and it bears a little yellow fruit that's supposedly similar to like a loquat. And if you look over here, this is a Shrikimbangan star fruit. I was blown away when I tasted it last year at the Caribbean Produce stand, and I had to buy it. I asked Katie, do you have any trees? She said, yes. I bought one right away. And I already have two. It's like, this is a carry star fruit, which is my favorite. Over there is a seedling star fruit that I got with the property. The first couple of years, the tree was so malnourished that it didn't bear fruit. But I mulched it and fertilized and irrigated it, and now it bears, sometimes it bears fruit this big.
Wow.
I got one fruit from it that I have a picture, but I couldn't believe the size of it. I wouldn't say it's quite as sweet as carry, but it's still darn good. It's really good. And what it makes up for is it's like it bears so much fruit that I can probably supply the whole neighborhood with star fruit. Over here we have a lemon meringue. I know it's one of your favorites. I don't know how well it's going to do out here in Loxat.
Do well.
So it's blooming. So and we can go up the path here and how shall we do this? So this is what I call my Java or Pliniaville, where I grow a lot of my Plinias, the Javas. So this is a very rare one. It's Plinia rivularis, or called Guabaruti. This is another Plinia coronata varestinga. These are all about, I have 3 of them. They're about 5 years old, and apparently they are precocious, so they can fruit from 5 to 8 years old. So anytime now. This is Scarlet Jabarikawa, Escalarte also called. This is one of the fruit trees that I got with the property. I think that it's a carry seedling. The fruit are very similar to carry, and it seems to be have the same problem as carry. It doesn't really fruit very well here. The first year that I moved in here in 2022, it had 70 fruit. But last year with the cold, wet weather, I had like 5 fruit on it. This year, you can see it's not much better.
Yeah.
So, but it's such a beautiful little tree, you know, it's so compact, and I don't really do anything to it. I don't have to prune it. It's just a little dwarf tree. Over here we have white Jabarikawa, Plinia oriana. It doesn't really like it here. Over here is one of my grafted ones that I bought. It's from a city in Brazil where there's a very famous Jabarikawa tree, Gohania, and apparently it makes very big fruit like this. So people say it could be a Plinia coronata, but no, it's just a rare genetic variance. Here is a Grimmel Jabarikawa, and here is a red hybrid. If you want to grow Jabarikawa, I would recommend you grow red hybrid. They fruit from 3 years from seed, and they fruit almost year round. They bloom, fruit, take a break for a few weeks, bloom again, and fruit again. So it just completely covered in low fruit right now. Just before the possums discovered it and stripped the whole tree. It had like 50 fruit on it. I came out the next morning, all of them gone. Just some of the seeds and the skins lying under it. And this is my 16-year-old Sabara that I grew from a seed. I moved it, you know, with me from place to place in a container.
How long did it take from seed to get fruit?
8 years.
8 years, wow.
Yeah, yeah. Just over 8 years. This year it had its largest crop. For like 10 days, I was eating as many Jabarikawas as I wanted, or as I could eat. Just, oh man, it's like one of my favorite things to eat, that and lychees. It's like I can just sit down and eat until I cannot eat anymore.
What about this tree?
This is a hummingbird tree. So I planted this tree to be like a nursery for the Sabra in the middle of the summer, like July, August. It is so hot out here. And then this Jabarikawa goes dormant. So I planted this from a seed to be like a nursery, and it's also a nitrogen fixer. This is my largest Plinia coronata varestinga from seed. It's like, I think it's about 5 years old. So I'm expecting it to bloom shortly, anytime soon. And the mango tree behind it is one of the that little tree in the front that I just showed you, and this one, and the big mango tree in the back. Those are the 3 mango trees that I got with the property. And I think they were all seedling trees. This tree fruited for the first time last year, and the closest that I can tell you, it's like very similar to Glen. Okay. And Glen is one of my least favorite mangoes. Sure. It's a beautiful mango. I think it's just flavorless. That's just what I think about Glen. what it makes up for is the production. You cannot believe how many fruit this little tree sets. Last year I probably had 100 fruit from this little tree, and you can see that it set lots of fruit and it's still blooming. It's just, so what I plan on doing this year is I'm probably going to dehydrate most of them, because that's one of my other favorite things to eat is dried mango. We can go in here. I also got this little avocado tree, came with the property, and it's a Florida Hass. I know that you don't particularly like that. It happens to be my favorite of all the avocados.
I like Florida Hass. It's nice.
It's just that, you know, it takes a break. Some years it doesn't fruit.
Yeah.
So that's the only problem. But last year I probably had like 30 avocados from this little tree, and this year you can see it's just completely covered in blooms. So I'm probably going to have a bumper crop.
Absolutely.
If the frickin' critters don't take all of it.
So do you have a problem with the raccoons?
Raccoons, possums, squirrels, rats, name it. Everything. Wow. Everything that you can think of.
It's another thing. People say you live out in the country, you could have more land, but you got more animals. You know,
exactly. So, you know, in the beginning, I tried to trap them, and it just became such a big hassle that I finally had to come to the realization that I have to coexist with them. So that's it. So just plant more trees so that you have enough to share.
Okay.
This little one here, this is Carrie.
Okay, that's a Carrie.
Yeah, this is Carrie, and the first flushing, the first blooming didn't set a lot of fruit. I think, like you and Alex said, that I think Carrie produced mostly male flowers with the cold weather. And so it set very few fruit. But then we got another cold, not as cold, and it bloomed again. So you'll see that Carrie is still setting a few fruit. So I'm still going to get quite a good crop from Carrie. And man, last year there was one fruit that I didn't get, and I forgot I didn't. And then by some fluke, the raccoons didn't get it. But when I picked that Carrie, holy moly, it's like incredible. It was like you know, Carrie is really a good
Was it
mango.
ripe on a tree?
It ripened on the tree.
You don't want to let them ripen on a tree. They turn fast normally.
But it turned a little, slightly yellow, and I picked it, and I didn't expect anything, but man, it was just absolutely incredible. So we can crawl under here. So I have not installed irrigation with my mango trees because you don't really irrigate them. But because they're setting fruit now, I use these walking sprinklers. I don't know if you've seen these.
They're pretty cool.
They're called walking sprinklers, and they walk along the pipe, and they irrigate like in a 30-foot wide section for 100 feet. So you just turn on the faucet and you just let them run. So that's
cool.
What I do. Maybe once a week, I water all of the mango trees now.
What tree was this?
This is Venus.
Venus, wow.
Incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
How does it do out here?
Fantastic.
Wow.
Fantastic. Look at it. And the fruit get this big.
Wow.
Like a baby's head.
That's good to know.
They're like unlike any other mango. I think they're like a combination of the Indian and the Southeast Asian mangoes, but with maybe more focus on the Southeast Asian flavor profile. They have like a spiciness that's not like the Indian mangoes. It can be a little off-putting, but once you get used to it, it's actually incredible. I think it's Gary Zill's wife's favorite mango. And so yeah, so Venus, I can definitely recommend Venus. It's excellent, really excellent. And as you can see, it actually has so many. I'm probably gonna have to thin it. Last year, some of the branches almost broke because it just like this.
Wow.
And something that I'm really excited on, in 2019, when I was still living in Boynton, renting in a townhouse, I went to Alex, Tropical Acres Farms, and I bought, it was at the end of the season. I just decided to show up, and they had almost no fruit left. I think there was one Edward fruit, a little Edward fruit, it looked like nothing. I bought that and I bought a couple of fruit. I grew the seed from that Edward, and that is that.
Wow.
It's not even 5 years old, and it's blooming for the first time this year.
Wow.
And I read that Edward is like a parent of so many of our excellent mangoes. So who knows what's going to come out of that?
Yeah.
You know, maybe some new variety that we all would like.
Exciting.
This is Fairchild. I don't think it's doing well in Loxahatchee. It had 2 fruit last year, and if you look at the fruit, it looks like they have anthracnose. So it's a small tree, you know, so if it doesn't do well, I can top work it or do something else. This one is actually really doing very good. It's Valkyrie. So it has the first fruit from the first round of blooming, and it's still blooming and still setting fruit. So it had 1 fruit last year, but the raccoons took it. So I didn't get to taste it. That's a little Atulfo, you know, the honey mango, little seedling. It didn't get the message, just want to go straight up. And the reason why I'm growing such a inferior mango is that I want to have the fruit to have as rootstock, because I have a friend in California and I want to grow some for him. And there's the carry from this side. You can see it didn't set that many fruit, but I think it's still going to be a reasonable, good enough crop. And I love carry. I just really like it. Over here is a niece to Sweetheart. It's called Kathy. And as you can see, Kathy is really doing well out here. And apparently the flavor profile is very similar to Sweetheart, but not quite as much of the tart component as Sweetheart. Over here, another one that's arguably borderline for Loxahatchee is Peach Cobbler. Last year it said 1 fruit, raccoons took it. So this year, maybe it's gonna have 4 fruit. And it's a big tree, you know, for such a big tree, a really poor fruit set. So, but it was my number 2 mango after Sweetheart. So I'm hopeful. I was hopeful, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Over here, I have a seedling from Mexico. Friends of ours went to Mexico, liked the fruit so much, they brought the seed, planted in the yard, it fruited, and this is a seedling from that tree. But maybe you know what's going on with it. I don't know what's going on with it. It always looks like this. The leaves are deformed.
Yeah, I mean, each variety is going to be different. It could be need more water.
Maybe some nutrition.
Could be a mite actually on the leaves.
Right.
Some sort of mite.
Exactly. So I'm going to give it more chance. So this is already like 7 years old. If it doesn't fruit soon, I'm probably going to top work it or whatever.
But anybody that's watching, if you have situations like that, take a picture and show like Alex and ask them. They can give you more of a positive answer.
Good idea.
Take care of it. Yeah.
So yeah, Kathy, once again, I cannot wait to taste this fruit because
it's nice. It's nice.
Oh, it is?
Yes, yes.
I've seen some of your tasting videos.
Yeah.
Another fruit, another mango that's like no for Loxahatchee is lemon zest. 2nd year in a row that it is covered in blooms. There's 1 fruit left, but I have no hope for it. I already anthracnose on it, so I don't think it's. So I'm probably and I know you're looking at these trees. Are they a little close? Yes, they are, about 12 feet apart. But I planted this lemon zest knowing that it was borderline. So it's a temporary tree. So I might take it out or top work it, but I'll probably just take it out. Another one that is borderline is Ugly Betty. It had the most beautiful bloom of all the trees, and yet maybe not even a handful of fruit. Last year, 0 fruit. So another one, and I also knew that I would probably take that out if it didn't work. So that will probably come out, and behind it is a soursop tree. My daughter gave it to me for my birthday maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I grew it in a pot and moved it with me from place to place and finally planted it here. But it was probably a seedling and it's such a poor fruiter. In the 4 years, almost 4 years, I had 3 fruit from it. That's it. So at the present moment, I see many little, where it bloomed. I can actually show you. So I'm hopeful that I'm going to get some fruit. This one you can see, I think that has a chance of being fertilized. And here are also more, but and of course they just don't like the cold. So when it dropped below 50 degrees, it lost all its leaves. And if we go down here, this is a peanut butter fruit. It needs a little pruning. It's so lanky. A soursop, just a seedling or an air layer. I got it Lowe's for cheap, so why not? And behind it is sugar apple. I picked up the seed at Mounts and grew the seed. That's from the tree at Mounts.
How long?
That's about 4 years old.
Okay.
And that little one behind is a custard apple.
Red custard apple?
A seedling, a seed from trade winds fruit. So I don't know what I'm gonna get. And over here, this is my hammy soursop, a grafted tree. Unfortunately, the guys who filled here nicked the trunk with the, with a front loader. So you can see it's struggling a bit.
What kind of soursop?
Miami soursop.
Miami, okay.
Yeah, that's apparently one that blew or fruits without hand pollination.
Sure.
This one is Lisa Atamoya. That is an Atamoya, just a seed from trade winds. It just said Atamoya, so I have no idea what I'm gonna get. And here's another fruit, another mango that might be borderline for Loxahatchee, fruit cocktail. It's the first year that it's blooming, but I have to say, this was a stick, like a 3-gallon, 2 years ago. So in 2 years, it has grown this big. It's incredible. So it's a very vigorous grower, but no fruit, almost no fruit set. This one here, very different. The growth habit is so different from all the other mangoes. It has very long leaves and they have like a yellow vein in the center, and it's just like scraggly, like a, I don't know how to explain it.
What is it?
Juicy peach.
Juicy peach, okay.
And it actually bloomed for the first year, and it's weird. The panicles doesn't come out like other mango trees at the top. It's just coming out everywhere in the middle of the tree. But it is setting fruit, so hopefully.
Are they able to grow mangoes in South Africa where you were from?
Not where I grew up close to Johannesburg. You couldn't grow mangoes there. It's temperate. But on the eastern coast, where the city of Durban is, and the province is called KwaZulu-Natal, that has a similar climate to here. So, and we also have one of the largest Indian populations outside of India that live in that area. So they grow lychees, mangoes, papayas, whatever you can think. So every year we used to go on vacation to the coast, and then we would gorge in December. So it would gorge on all the fruit. So you could find them standing next to the road everywhere. You could just buy the fruit everywhere.
Very nice.
Yeah. So guavas. This is Alfonso, also not supposed to be very good for here, but it bloomed last year, but it didn't set a single fruit. But this year, I see little fruit. But if you look at the panicles, it must have produced mostly male flowers. So I don't see any evidence of anthracnose, but it's the flowers just dried up. So they were mostly male. But I'm gonna get some fruit from it, and so I have many colleagues at work that are from India. My whole team that I work with are from India, and Some of them live in New York, and so I can't wait to send some of them some mangoes from the Alfonso, especially.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got some bananas up there.
Oh yeah, more giant namwa.
Okay.
Producing so many.
Yeah.
they go bananas. Yeah, so maybe we can finish this area. So this is namwa, and that's manzano, apple banana. This is dwarf Cavendish. This like junk. That's going to come out. This is a sweet tamarind tree. It's actually making its very first fruits. So I can't wait. It's really gorgeous. And back here we have another Atamoya seedling, just I don't know what it is. And behind it is a narrow-leaved guava, Psidium striatulum from seed. And guavas have a tough time here in our sandy soils with nematodes. And the Psidium striatulum is nematode resistant. When we get to the front, I'll show you my bigger one. It just bears so many guavas that I could share with the neighborhood.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, so the first year I had all this energy and bushy-tailed and whatever. So I created this whole area, put a fence around it and all of that. And then as my fruit forest developed, I just couldn't do both. I had to choose. Am I going to try and grow vegetables for very low production because the pest pressure is so high out here, and in the summer months you can't grow any vegetables really, so that's why it's such an eyesore. But it's, you know, and then my next staycation, I'll probably take down the fence, and I want to move the greenhouse over here and then have this area filled because it's also very low, it floods. So yeah, so that's it. But in my greenhouse here I have many things that you've never heard of, and you know, I don't know where I'm gonna plant them all. But I'll face that when I get to the point where I have to plant them. And so another traveling sprinkler, I'm gonna turn it on later today, but we had almost a ½ inch of rain earlier, or late last week. It was really, really very welcome.
Did you cover this one?
Yeah, this is the Alfonso.
Okay, okay.
This one is Angie. So Angie is also doing very well. Very small dwarf tree. And even though it's not my favorite, I planted a Glen. I don't know why. But as you can see, Glen has no problem out here. That big tree, I called it Carlo, after my mom's nickname for me. It produces large mangoes, and when they get sun, they get like this red and yellow and orange blush. They're really, really stunningly beautiful. And the best way that I can describe the flavor is like canned peaches. It's really,
wow.
It's fantastic.
And
it's really fantastic. Yeah.
Seedling tree?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So I really lucked out. That tree
Now,
was
there's already a tree called Carla.
not Carla, Carlo.
Carlo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carlo, yeah.
Carlo.
The tree was so tall that the birds and the raccoons and the rats got all the fruit. So over the last 2 years, I took about 1/3 off the top. I climbed that tree and stood on the stumps as I cut them off. But because I did it over 2 years, it never missed production.
But it fruits well.
It fruits very well. This year it didn't fruit as well with the strange weather we had, but you can see it still set quite a few fruit. And
I'd like to taste one of those.
absolutely. Yeah. When they're ready, you have to come out here.
Okay.
So this one is Malika. It did set quite a few fruit. Not as many, but I mean, it's the first year that it's fruiting, so how many can you expect? I don't know, have you ever seen Malika in bloom?
Yeah.
It's so different than any of the others. The panicles, even the stalks are white, almost like a white color, compared to the others that are
I have
mostly...
one blooming right now.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. So...
I like it, it's a good match.
I really like it, but apparently you have to pick it at the right time.
You gotta know when to pick it, yeah.
So I'll ask you. And of course it's not the best, but this is Kent. It's just like a very reliable mango for most of Florida. And as you can see, it's setting so many fruit and still setting fruit. So when I go to the Caribbean produce stand at the end of the season, they always have Kent, still have Kent, like even in late September, maybe sometimes even into October. So that's why I planted Kent. When all the other mangoes are gone, I'm gonna have Kent. I forgot one more. Another tree not to plant in Loxahatchee. Coconut cream.
Coconut cream, yep.
Second year that it's blooming, zero fruit. Zero. It was covered in blooms 2 years in a row, and the panicles turned black like this. The panicles just turned black and dried up like that.
Yeah, it's a controversial one. Some people do great, some people don't do well.
And I just really wanted to taste it so badly, but
It's delicious.
I guess I'll have to buy some.
Yeah, it's really good.
And that's also a temperate tree. It's just too close to the other. So maybe I'll ask somebody, if somebody wants it, they can come and dig it up. This is a chachachairo or a chacha. Have you ever tasted the fruit?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like same as lychees, jabaricas. I can sit down and eat them until I cannot eat anymore. But man, it's also just such a slow grower. Man, we can do this area. Probably one that is really going to do well in Loxahatchee is honeykiss.
Excellent, excellent.
And it's a small dwarf tree. This is a Ross sapote. And over here at the top of the pad, I installed more jabaricabas, my favorite, and I'm very excited about this one. This is from Argentina. It's called Giant Puree, and apparently there's one tree in existence, and it makes fruit that are this big. So I'm really looking forward to that one. This is Imbi. I think it's a female tree. It's setting lots of fruit, but they all drop. So my friend's gonna send me a male scion for it. This is one, Juliet, and I'm really disappointed. It doesn't seem to do very well. I think, is Juliet like a seedling of Carrie?
Yeah, no, seedling of Julie.
Of Julie. But yeah, so the fruit, I don't think that any of these fruit are going to make it to maturity. I think it's going to abort all of the fruit. And you can see that it's hardly set in fruit, but it's a first year, so you gotta give it some time. And over here we have a green sapote. I can't wait for this to fruit, but man, it grows like
a while. Yeah.
It's grafted at least. I guess let's go down here. This is a MIT 13 avocado. It was developed at I believe at the University of Hawaii. So it's for humid areas, warm humid areas. And apparently it's a very good buttery, oily avocado. It bloomed, it made one bloom last year, but it didn't set any fruit. This year, it's covered in blooms, but the problem that I have with this particular one is the avocado lace bugs. They really love this, and so every leaf is basically infested with that. In this little row here, we have like blue fruited ginger. It's from Australia. It makes a little blue fruit that apparently tastes like a lemon, but the plant's beautiful. There's a red hybrid jabaricaba seedling. There's a chacha seedling, and in between this is a Cape gooseberry. See, you can have that.
Look at that.
They are absolutely delicious. Tastes like pineapple.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Skin is edible?
Yeah, the skin is edible.
Delicious. Very nice.
As soon as it gets above like 85, it just withers and dies.
Very good.
It's really good. I love it. And so here is a sugar apple, and the birds planted a peanut butter fruit. So it's like a sugar apple is just leafing out. I got this from Leaf, and it's called Olga sugar apple. It hasn't bloomed yet, so I'm really looking forward to that. My anonas, it's like, what the hell? It's like none of them are fruiting. It's like, but except for that little Gefner up there. Macadamia nut. I had a couple of fruits from it this year, so excellent, very good. And over here we have, I forgot what it's a hybrid banana. It's a hybrid of like one of the beautiful ornamental bananas. The leaves are just beautiful. They are red and they have these stripes on them. The wind just shreds it here, and it's actually making its first rack of bananas now. And everywhere you'll see the Everglades tomatoes just popping up. So there's snacks. While I'm walking around, you can eat snacks. This is monkey orange. It's native to South Africa. It makes a big, I've heard of it. It doesn't look very happy. Maybe too humid for it here. That is, I just got that papaya from my neighbor and just put it in that area, and it just cranks out papayas, and it's my not least favorite fruit. That is a canistel. I traded some plants with a guy in North Carolina, got lots of canistel seedlings, and then I grafted a trompo onto one of that. So that's a trompo, a grafted trompo. That's an abu, a seedling abu. And this is another mango that I really, really like from the tastings, all the fruit mangoes that I tasted from Tropical Acres Farm. Karen Michelle. Have you tried that?
Excellent.
Oh, I love it. And it's so unusual. It's this yellow, strangely shaped mango. It's so different.
Excellent, yeah.
Really good. So when I saw the tree at, I think it was the Korean Brothers stand, I just had to buy it.
Did we go over this one?
Macadamia nut.
Got you. Okay, okay.
Yeah. And so I planted this hedge on this side that consists of green buttonwood and clusia intermix. So I'm going to see what does best. The Karen Michelle seems to do very well here. So it's set fruit from the first blooms, and it's still setting fruit. So I think I'm going to get quite a few from this. Here's another experiment, a seedling tree. It could be 2020. I bought a fruit from Aldi. It was this big, a green fruit. It could have been a keat seedling or a keat. So I just planted the seed, and then it grew two. It was a monoembryonic seed, but it grew two shoots. So I thought, oh, this is interesting. So here it is.
Wow.
Who knows what's going to happen to it? What's going to come of it? And I grafted peach cobbler onto this branch, and it took. So I'm going to have peach cobbler here. And this little tree is M4. It's the first time that it's blooming. And for this small tree, the amount of fruit, I'm gonna have to thin it because it will stunt it even further, and it is already a small tree, right?
Well, it's medium.
What do you do when it's this small and it has so many fruit? Do you let them fruit?
Probably not.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'll probably take off most of the fruit. The thing is, if you take them off too soon, then it can flush, it can bloom again. There's another one that I'm very excited about, is Super Alfonso.
Excellent, excellent.
And the jury is still out. When I look at the fruit, they look like yellow. They look like it's going to drop most of them. So I'm not sure how good the fruit set will be. It's completely covered in small fruit, but whether they're going to reach maturity, I don't know. And this little one here is a dwarf Hawaiian, and it just keeps on blooming, keeps on blooming. It's just too small. And this is a Densler white sapote.
Finally, a white sapote. Finally. Okay.
Yeah, this one in the front, the Campbell.
Oh yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. Excellent. Okay.
And is it last year or year before I bought a jackfruit from the Korean produce stand? I really like it so much. It had like pink, fresh, crunchy, and just really great. So I grew a seed. So this is it.
Okay.
And remember I mentioned about my irrigation? I installed irrigation pipe all over my yard. So within 50 feet from wherever you are in my yard, there will be access to a water point like this.
Nice.
And you can see I've got 2 irrigation zones here, one for that whole area and one that covers this entire area. So I just turn on the faucet and eventually I will get timers and automate it. So this is a Yehuda loquat. I tried out these new bags that I got. These stainless steel bags. The birds pick the loquats right through the bags.
Wow.
So I just did my second thing. I keep all these strawberry tubs and they work really well.
Great. Are they ready now?
I think these are ready. Let's see.
The birds know. The birds pick them, so they know.
Oh yeah. This one hasn't been picked, so yeah, you're in for a treat.
All right, Yehuda. All right, apricot.
They say that it tastes like a green apple, like a Granny Smith apple.
Nice. Very nice. Not my favorite fruit, but nice.
That's another thing that I grew up with in South Africa. They all around Johannesburg, probably all around the country, almost everybody has a loquat tree. So there's a lot of trees in this area. That's a red sugar apple seedling. It grows so slow. That's probably 5 years old. At the back there is a sherry loquat. Also grafted onto that is strawberry loquat, mochi loquat, and angelino. That one over there is a Christmas loquat. It's my favorite so far of them all. And I also grafted onto that Big Jim and angelino. This Yehuda also has Big Jim. This big branch, that branch is bigger than the rest of the tree. This is a Big Jim branch. It has
a loquat.
Yeah,
the loquat. I said apricot loquat.
Big Jim loquat, yeah.
Yeah.
It hasn't fruited yet. And over here is an African Pride, Ataboya, that I got from Stephanie Zinnis, one of my friends. Over here is a custard apple, a seed from Tradewinds. It says great variety, so I don't know what's going. And that's a Camito. It's been in the ground for
red or green.
The red.
Grafted or seed?
I don't know. I think it was an air layer.
Okay.
But it hasn't fruited yet, so I don't know. And of course, butterscotch, Sabudea. It's got its first fruit forming. But man, this grows like so slow. My goodness.
It'll take off eventually.
And this is my little brown sugar dwarf Sabudera.
Oh, you have a brown sugar. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I have a couple of ripe fruits in there that I want to give you, so you
I'd love to try one.
Yeah, so you can
I
try
have one that I think might be brown sugar. I'm not sure, so that'll be good. I can
freaking
compare.
critters love it as much as I do.
Yeah, I like it. I like the grit. I like the grit in brown sugar.
That one over there is a governor's plum.
Okay, yeah.
Flacourti indica. I think it's a male tree, so it makes his little blooms but never sets a fruit. So that's coming out. That's going to be removed. I don't know what I'm going to plant in its place. That is just a weed that I like, so I let it grow. But underneath it is a seedling from my little brown sugar Sabudera. This is a Thai ever-bearing mulberry. It just doesn't want to go. It just wants to grow that way. So anyway, this is a dwarf ever-bearing mulberry. Can you see how many mulberries it has on it?
Amazing, yeah.
I love it. They're small, so it's like a big pain to pick them all, but man, they are so good. It's absolutely fantastic. And over here, so this is a little key lime. It actually had a couple of blooms on it, so I don't see any fruit. I planted a cherry of the Rio Grande here. This is an orange berry. Have you ever tried the gineberry?
No. Let's see.
Here's a couple of fruit for you.
Juneberry.
Gineberry.
Janeberry.
They also call it orange berry.
Very nice.
It tastes like gin and tonic.
Nice.
And it's like a little, like you say, a little snack tree. So it always has something to snack on. So that hedge, I planted that's 77 cocoa plums that I planted there. When I moved in there, it was nothing, it was open, and I like my privacy, so every time I walked here, I felt like a fish in a bowl.
There you go.
So one of the first things I did is I planted this row, but it's the same, the Carissa that I showed up front. It just grows. In the first couple of years, it grows so slow. So these have been in the ground for almost 4 years now, and they're only this big. So I said, no, that's not going to do it. So I planted the cocoa plums, and I now have complete privacy. I live right next to this dirt road, and people drive past here like 70 miles an hour. So I'm constantly bathed in dust. The cocoa plums have already made a huge difference. So if people want to plant, a hedge or a windbreak, I can definitely recommend cocoa plums. They're native, they don't require irrigation, fertilization, nothing. And they produce an edible fruit and makes great jams and jellies.
It's a common landscape here, and it's good that when you plant it yourself, you don't have to worry about the local community spraying it. So that's a problem if you see it commonly, but that's great.
Exactly. And in this row here, I also planted some of our native Simpson stoppers. So it's bird food. It's not human edible. It is edible, but you really don't want to eat it. It's like, it's better and astringent. So the birds love it. Oh, I want to show you this too. So this is a yellow strawberry tree.
Oh, yeah.
It's also coming out.
Yes. Okay.
It's been in the ground for 2 years. I've had one fruit from it.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And the little strawberry things are popping up everywhere.
Yeah, it's more like a weed.
So it's beautiful, but space is precious. So no, you're coming out. And something that I'm really excited, this is a lime berry. I don't know the scientific name for it, but it's in the citrus family, and it's very spiky. This is Australian finger lime, red.
Okay.
So it's making its first little fruit.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
And this is just some tea bush from Barbados. I got it at Mount's nursery, so it's just pretty. And when you crush the leaves, it smells like thyme. So that's another Kamito, red hybrid Jabuticaba, Suriname cherry.
Why is that on the side, the Kamito?
It decided that's how it wants to grow.
And the Suriname cherry, is that red or black?
This is a seedling from Lolita, which is almost black.
Okay.
It's very good. This is a tropical apricot hybrid. The fruit are like sour as warhead candy, so this is coming out too. I just left it here as a nursery for this, and I'm really excited about this. This is Pumitia pinnata or Fijian longan. So very rare. I got it from Zane.
I liked your chairs.
Yeah. I put the chairs around it to protect it. So we just have this, my last area to do, and it's also my favorite area.
Okay.
As I mentioned in the beginning, I love the Myrtaceous plants, Myrtaceae family, Eugenia, but most of them is Plinia, and then Eugenia, and I also like the Psidiums. So I just planted that sea hibiscus there as a windbreak and as privacy for the rest of my yard. In this little area, I've got a Seminole pumpkin. It just reseeds itself and just comes up every year. That's a pitomba from the giant pitomba tree at Mounts. That's Eugenia lushnatiana. Do you know pitomba?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, this is a red guava, a seedling from Trade Winds Fruit. It just says red guava, so I don't know what I'm gonna get. And this is very closely related, I think, to the Cambuca. This is called John Mulchi, Plinia inflata, but man, you gotta have patience with that thing. Cambuca. A sour guava from Codico Farm. Excellent, excellent people to deal with. So Codico Farms. More figs, and the reason why they are still alive, they are under about 2 feet of mulch. And over there is orange guava. I mean, I think you're running a little low on time. Over here we have probably about 27 different kinds of Myrtaceous fruits. So this is Eugenia repanda, there's Eugenia candoliana, we have blue grape, Murciara vexator, we have lemon guava, we have a Thai red guava, we have grumichama, we have narrow leaf guava, the big tree there. This one is Mercianthus pungens or guabiju. We have Savannah cherry, Eugenia Eugenia caracina. Over here we have what are they again? I forgot. I'll come back to them. And this is cherry of the Rio Grande.
Okay.
It's covered in little fruit. And here's the Lolita Suriname cherry. So last year it didn't fruit at all, but this year it's loaded with little fruit. So it's really, have you ever tried the Lolita?
No.
It's really good. So
when it's ready, call me. I'll come try it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, just the heads, and I've got Barbados cherries everywhere. Eugenia piriformis. This is the big narrow leaf guava. So it's just coming out. So it's like semi-deciduous. So it lost most of its leaves, but it's actually flushing out with new growth right now. So let's see. And this little area here behind you is just my little native area. So this is all just native plants. So I've got the beech, sunflower here, cocoa plum, sea grape, fiddlewood, probably like 50 different native species in there. So yeah, so it's just my little native area. But you come closer and you have to see the blooms on this Savannah cherry.
Wow.
They're just absolutely incredible.
Beautiful.
And they like have this pink tint to them and pink antlers. So I haven't tasted this. It's the first year that it's blooming. So I'm really excited to see what it's going to look like. I would say of all of these so far, the most productive has been the rainforest plum, Eugenia candoliana. It's really incredible. When it starts blooming, it doesn't stop. It fruits non-stop. It blooms and fruits and blooms and fruits all through the year until the cold hits us like November. So really great. And one thing that I have to show you about this is the trunk. The trunk of this is the most beautiful bark. when it's wet, it's red, like those madrona trees that you see on the west coast in Seattle. So the trunks look like that. It's really spectacular.
All right, that's the tour.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. All right, everybody, that was Carl, and this place truly was as amazing as he said it was going to be, and I'm looking forward to seeing in the future how everything comes, and come back here often for tastings with Carl. And Carl, thank you for bringing part of South Africa here to Loxahatchee, Florida.
Absolutely. Oh man, I'm just so grateful to be here. I love it here. I really love it.
If people want to get in touch with you, how can they do so?
I'm on Facebook, so yeah.
Facebook. I'll put his Facebook link below, everybody. And thank you, Carl, for having us out and showing us around.
Thank you for taking the time out, Paul. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody. If you have a yard like this or a yard like anything where you're growing fruit, I'd love to come and film your place. My email address is below. And again, everybody, make your dream happen and learn from what you're doing. And thanks for watching, and keep growing.